Good evening and welcome to another edition of Dad's Divorce Live. My name is Angelyn Mitchell and I'm an attorney in St. Louis. If you haven't seen me yet, I occasionally fill in for Joe, and I'm filling in again for him tonight. But we have a great episode lined up. We're going to talk with a financial expert about some financial issues that people face when they're going through divorce and tax issues. And with me tonight is Mr. Michael Isenhart of Isenhart Tax and Financial in Belleville, Illinois. And he is an enrolled agent, which allows him to represent any taxpayer before audit levels with the IRS, including district appeals. He's been practicing, or he's been in tax practice for more than 25 years. He's a college tax instructor. He prepares tax returns for individuals, businesses, partnerships, corporations, estates, and trusts. And he's basically an expert in the field of tax law, and we really appreciate him taking time out of this busy season to be with us tonight. So welcome, Michael.
Well, thank you for having me on your program, Angelyn. And by the way, congratulations on your new offices here in Illinois, one of which is a few blocks from my office here in Belleville.
Right. Thank you very much. And Michael's going to be talking with us tonight about some of the financial issues, like I said, and tax issues that face people who are going through divorce. And as part of that, he has prepared 19 rules of financial planning when you're preparing to go into a divorce. And we're going to start by going through some of these rules. Michael, would you like to take us through some of these?
Well, certainly. Some of the rules, as I thought and contemplated on the issues of divorce and how they impact an individual, I came up with 19 rules, and of course there's always rules that can be added, but here are some that readily come to mind, and the first of which is that if you have the ability in situations of divorce to postpone taking income from bonuses or commissions until the following year, you might want to do so. This may help reduce the amount on which your divorce support obligations are being calculated.
Absolutely. And by support obligations, that's maintenance and child support.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Right.
Number 2 on my list is certainly when you're dealing with something that it can be as complicated as, separation from your spouse and soon-to-be ex-spouse, you want an experienced attorney. You want somebody that's familiar with the nuances of divorce. It is a specialty all of itself, and its complexities need someone that understands those. Make sure that your team that you've put together is aware and kept abreast of the changes, and your team should be your attorney, your tax professional, insurance person, investment counselor, and any other financial advisor that you might have. Right.
And as an attorney, speaking as an attorney, the more information that I have, the better when I'm dealing with your information and going into court. So the more things that you can give me about your financial situation or any other situation that you might be in as it relates to your divorce, the better I can represent you. And I'm sure it's the same with you, Michael, with tax practice. The more information that you have, the more you have to work with them and help them out.
Well, certainly. We all have our respective disciplines, and we each have our laws and such that govern each, and it's helpful when everybody is on board and working together, and of course it's for the betterment of the individual going through this difficult process.
Absolutely.
Number 3 I have on my list is if you have a business of your own that you went into the marriage with, and you want to make sure that your attorney is aware of that. Hopefully your spouse was never a director or corporate officer, and there I would defer to your expertise in expanding upon that.
Right. Well, if you've gone into a marriage with something and you're talking about possibly some separate property issues, certainly we want to know if something was in existence before the marriage, because then there might be that separate property interest. You might have created a lot of equity in their business or a lot of value in your business that has nothing to do with the marriage, and that could be very important. And if your spouse hasn't contributed to that, as like you say, director or corporate officer or in any other aspect, then that can really be an argument to the court that a lot of that value could be yours, although there might still be a marital aspect of it.
And so certainly it is another consideration when contemplating divorce. The fourth on my list, Angelyn, is to make a list of credit cards that both have both your names on them, and particularly if they have zero balances, you want to cancel those out. And if there's ones with balances due on them, work something out to get those paid off and eliminated. And the same would be true of loans and such that are in both your names. You want to get past that. You don't want that hanging over you after the divorce.
Right. I have clients to confront this all the time. And what can you do about credit cards or really any other loan to expand it that much further? No credit card company or lender wants to let somebody off the hook just because there's been a divorce. They're not just going to take them out of the picture in terms of debt, because they want to collect their debt.
And they're going to go about it however they can naturally. Right. So, to try to eliminate some of the problems, post-divorce, I would recommend that they look into that issue as well. Right. Number 5 I have on my list is one of the things that sometimes we unfortunately can run into is maybe your spouse has already been setting the groundwork for the divorce and has already been channeling some of your hard-earned money into hidden assets. And if you suspect as such, you may want to consider some forensic accounting to determine that and to see if there's anything that might be there.
Right, yeah. If they've sold assets and then taken the money and hidden that in some form or fashion, those are other issues to look for. And of course, as you say, a lot of people do plan for this kind of stuff in advance, so they might be hiding stuff or hiding money away somewhere.
Yeah, if you suspect as such, you may want to look into it, and of course, make sure that you're covered in that event, because it may not just affect just that issue, but maybe the taxation issues that may go along with that as well.
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely, yes. Number 6 I have on my list are when you are certain as to what assets you will have after the divorce, gather them together to change beneficiaries where needed. This could include your 401ks, IRAs, life insurance policies. And if the children are under 18, you may want to consult an attorney about setting up a trust. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, if they're under 18, there might be an issue with them being a beneficiary, or you might not want them to inherit a lot of money from you right away. So a trust might be a way to go. To make sure that they're your beneficiary, but yet they're not coming into a lot of money at age 16.
Well, certainly, and I'm sure that you could attest to the fact that there are so many different unique situations that you'll run across when you're dealing with individuals and people, and one child might be very responsible with that money, and another one won't, and so the trust really comes into play in that kind of a situation.
Absolutely, every situation is different, but as far as changing your beneficiaries, that's an important tip, I think, because people forget, I think, that they've designated their spouse as their beneficiary, because it's just simply what most people do on their 401k or life insurance or whatnot, is they designate their spouse as the beneficiary. And maybe they forget to go back and change it. Well, if you don't go back and change it, they don't automatically not become your beneficiary just because the divorce is final. So that's an important tip, I think.
Right, absolutely, and I'm sure that you've run into situations, and I know I have from my end, where I've had individuals come in, complaining that Dad's money was supposed to have gone to them, but it went to the ex-spouse, and there's a lot of trouble and heartbreak over that. It's a very difficult time when a person's going through a divorce, and some of these items that we're mentioning, you just don't think about. You're just trying to deal with the issues at hand.
Right, and the emotional baggage that goes with that.
Certainly.